How many times you gave up on your watercolors, feeling not good enough and lost? Sometimes the complexity of the design can be overwhelming. My sincere advice, just start small. In today's video, we are back with another gorgeous flower made from dots. Yes, you heard me. I'm just painting dots, and I advise you to start and do it exactly the same way. It is such a fun technique, and it is really doable for everyone, especially those that never painted, those who are afraid of watercolors. And if you are just stressed that it's just not gonna work, you don't know how to blend the colors, look, it is doable. I'm telling you, grab your paints, put few dots, not too much pigment in the dots, just a colored water sort of thing. Decide about your palette and then drag some brush over your dots. The brush is flat, it's not even a watercolor brush, honestly, but make sure you have some water in your brush, like the brush is not soaking wet, but damp. For sure, that there is enough water that will move the pigment, will move our dots. This is really fun technique. Not only that it's pretty, but it's such a surprising technique. You don't know how the pigment will flow, what we're gonna have, how our flower will look like, and that's the beauty of this actual technique. If you're the beginner, try it out. If you're professional, most definitely try it out. Why not? And then if you're lacking some color, you can add a little touches of some pigment to your flower, and there you go. Your petals are done in no time. It's a very fast technique as well. I'm just adding little, it's like a lacy sort of effect that I decided to loosen up the petals, make them a little bit more, I don't know, freeing somehow, some just touching here and there with the small brush. This technique is for everyone. I promise you, you will totally fall in love with it. And if you haven't seen my previous videos, please do check it out, because there are other where I do paint, where I do talk, doodle and all. Now this is the doodle part. Again, you can choose whatever you like to have in the middle of your flower. I love to have a mixture of doodles and the glitter afterwards, because this is just my sort of cup of tea. This is how I like it. Loosen up your hand when you do your doodles. It's very important to not really press too hard and too strong with your pen. Just really try your best to be delicate, to be slow in the process. Although you can see that dip, 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 dip. That's because I sped it up like maybe half of a percent, a tiny bit, so it will be faster a little bit process, because it is a time consuming process. The whole process of doodling, I've learned recently, honestly, the more time you give, the better it will be, the better it will come out. It's just giving time to shade, to create those touches to that center piece of the flower. It is just so fantastic. So this is my little piece of advice as well. Take your time when you are doing your doodles, and maybe on the side, on the separate page, on the separate paper, you can just try it out and see what sort of middle parts you would like to see in your flower. I think with every flower I'm learning something new. I'm implementing changes, the things that I enjoyed in the previous flower, then things that I discovered in the other flower. So I'm mixing and matching a lot of times, and just I do feel that every flower in a way it's slightly different. Same for the color palette. You can see the little papers there on the side. This is where I sort of grab the pigment from my palette and just thinking, where can I add it? How can I make it together to make it pretty? Which are gonna work together? Which colors are gonna be just made for each other? And that's exactly how I find my palettes, how I like them to be, and how they just simply work well together and looking very pretty. Possibly, as you can tell on the side page, you can see that connection of colors, a little bit of a teal, a little bit of red, brown. This is how I discover my palettes on the side, not on the spot with the flower, not when I make the project, but actually a few minutes before, just to check the color palette, just to see and decide which will work best. This pen that I'm using, it's my absolute favorite Pilot G-Tech for something. Of course, the link is in the description box, so please check it out. It's under the video. And also please know that you can use whatever you have, any pen, and a doodle pen, and a I don't know, like whatever pen you have. This is something that I'm using it, But just because I am using it, it doesn't mean that you have to use exactly what I have. Quite opposite. I suggest you and I encourage you to really use what you have. That's super important. I also have been reading your comments on the other videos that you're saying it's super easy and it's doable and you cannot wait to try. And I would love you to know, and I would love to suggest you that just thinking that these flowers will appear just like that on the first go, possibly, quite possibly, no. Maybe you need another go, a second one, a third one, but with each flower you feel more confident. That's how I find it myself. Like, I've painted in the past months, I think I've painted, can I say, could that be 40 flowers? Maybe. Each of them was different. Plenty of them are on YouTube here. Plenty of them are on Instagram as well. And I think with each flower, I feel more confident. I feel that I'm learning something with each flower. The flow of the pigment, the amount of pigment to add, the flow of the water, how it mixes, what works great with each other, even how to hold the brush. Like, all of that is important. And I would love you to know that without practice, it will just not be as good when you do practice. And truth to be told, this is a very fast design and it is doable, but it's also, if you're wondering what I'm gonna do with it afterwards, well, you can fussy cut it and add it to your card. You can just have this as embellishment for your other projects. And I wanted to say one more thing. If you don't have watercolor paper, your design may not work as well. So I suggest you, out of everything, to invest in any watercolor paper. My one is 300 grams, I think, cold press watercolor paper. I like the thicker paper. For me, the thicker the better, because it is just so much easier for it to be flat when I dry it with the heat dryer. But anything will work, just try it out. Now it's time to add some glue dots. This is just a regular glue, just any liquidy glue that I put it on the side paper, and then with the little tool I'm just stamping tiny dots to add my glitter. And also important because many have mentioned how unfriendly is that glitter for the environment. This one is eco-friendly. This glitter, since few weeks now, good few weeks, I'm using only eco-friendly glitters, and I'm very proud of finding those. The name of this glitter is also in the description if you're curious, and I love the fact that this is biodegradable glitter. This is really fast design, really achievable, and I really hope you will try it for yourself, because extra dots for extra shine, because it will make you happy, and I wish you to try to be happy. On that happy note, I wish you a beautiful day. I miss you because I know I have to go, but I will be back. Happy painting, my darling friends, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a beautiful week. I love you. Bye bye.